Hi cuties. So if you can't already tell from my previous videos, Jack the Ripper is fully in his survival horror bag as of late. I mean, I always feel like I am, but some in particular has me itching and yearning for more scary, spooky experiences. When I start to feel like this, I pull out my handy dandy spectacles and lock into the indie horror Steam pages full of potential bangers for me to play next. And recently, a couple weeks ago, I came across this video game right here. Sorry We're Closed. What immediately got me interested, besides the 99% overwhelmingly positive reviews, golly bro, is the incredible art style. I mean, the swag is just oozing through my monitor right now, leaving a mess all over the place, right? I'm gonna be honest with y'all, going into 2025 now, it's very hard for me to get as excited for upcoming indie horror games when I see it's another PS1 styled game. Do not get me wrong, a lot of these can be absolutely delicious, and I've played a lot of them, but that's why they're getting ever so slightly stale to me. However, Sorry We're Closed sort of freshens the formula up a bit with the goated fixed camera angles, obviously, and the gameplay from a first-person perspective as well. I mean, this is just such a great mix, and I really wish that all the horror games I play in the future have this feature as well. It would be amazing, dude. You get to really soak in the beautiful environments this way, and the combat is much more enjoyable when you can lock into an FPS style mode. I love it. Before I decided to actually pull the trigger and purchase the game, I checked out their demo, which immediately throws you into the thick of the game, talking to folks and such, and it sets up the main story for our protagonist, Michelle. I'll let you cuties know right now, I won't be going too crazy deep on the story because it actually is a gigantic part of this video game's experience, but I can explain what it's essentially about. You play as Michelle, like I said, and you're being sought after from this horny, freaky-ass devil that wants you to love them, so they curse you with a third eye that allows you to peer into the underworld. Insane setup, I'm aware, but that's where a lot of the charm comes into play. As you can see from my title, this game gives off very strong Catherine vibes, and I love that game super dearly, so I do not say that lightly, okay? The demo doesn't really do a good enough job of showing that off, I think, but I'll get more into that later in the Certified Ripper Gripes section, okay? Anyways, throughout the demo, you play the beginning of the combat introduction in this game. That third eye the demon gave you earlier that I was talking about is also used in the combat. Basically, you press spacebar or the Y button on the controller, I think, and you get a big ring around your character, and it'll freeze the enemy and show their weak spot. The goal is to obviously shoot the weak spot. But beyond that, it's also used as like a portal for you to view the overworld, I suppose. Like, you'll see demons, then boom, pop your third eye, and you can see their real world counterpart. This is such a creative, delicious feature, and it's almost like something you'd see in Silent Hill Origins, or, I hate to say it, The Medium. The demo ends after about 20-ish minutes of you doing some very simple puzzles and clapping these Silent Hill 1 rodent-looking motherfuckers and ending your first day. That was really enough to get me locked in personally because I thought it was creative and innovative enough for me to actually give it a try, and I'm really glad that I did. The intro of the actual game goes a little more in-depth with the prologue, giving you backstory on Michelle and her group of friends and people around the town, which plays a super huge part on the gameplay elements. The way I see it, the game is split into two different sections, the Catherine style one and the Resident Evil / Silent Hill one, you know? The half that's more like Catherine is going to be you gallivanting around town, interacting with everyone you see, using your third eye to find secrets and reveal people's true identities, you know? You can find out if they're a demon or an angel, and this can lead you to different side quests as well. There are quite a few choices in this game too that will have significant impact, and I believe there's like 4-ish endings. I'm not too sure, honestly. There's not a lot of coverage on this game, I'm gonna be honest. But yeah, a lot of the side stuff here is like super duper missable, and the items you pick up along the way can be totally forgotten about and simply cause you to completely skip certain side quests, and I kind of fuck with that, I'm gonna be honest. Like I said earlier, I did not expect this game to be as dialogue heavy as it is, so make sure you are fully aware of what you may be getting yourself into if you decide to check this game out. This is a game that is fully flexing the writing and the characters, and all of them are designed so damn well, I will say. I mean, the little character sprites are so visually stunning when talking to people, and the low poly models are just a cherry on top for real. The story can be pretty profound at times with its allegories and themes, if you will, and I personally thought it was a nice little dark comedy romp. I mean, if you love demons, angels, the concept of love, you will eat this game right the fuck up. I will say at certain points, it felt like the talking was never gonna end, or perhaps a character is just yapping beyond belief about certain exposition, but that might have just been me being super antsy to get back to the survival horror elements that I feel are done super damn well here. Like I said prior, you get your third eye during combat, and the FPS gameplay feels very similar to Killer 7, if you cuties are familiar with that title, and I can't say I've ever played a game that feels quite like this. The puzzles are not gonna knock your socks off or anything like that. It's more like, hey, this piece is missing, can you go find it, you know? But that is perfectly fine because it does just enough to keep it interesting. You get your stereotypical horror game guns, you know, the pistol, the shotty, melee weapon, and there's an ultimate attack here known as the Heartbreaker. Some of the bigger, stinkier enemies will need to be shot several times in a row in perfect succession to charge up this Heartbreak meter. If you don't finish them off with the Heartbreaker, they're just temporarily stunned. However, if you shoot them in succession perfectly, like I said, you can clap them forever with the Heartbreaker, which is also the main boss fight mechanic as well. The boss fights are so damn dope too, dude. Like, big, gigantic, freaky ass creatures with a slapping soundtrack behind it is always such a great time. And although I think some might be designed a little janky, they're still charming enough to not really piss you off too bad, you know? Each gameplay section kind of has Michelle chasing after a victim of the Duchess, who is the main devil horny bastard that really is fiending for Michelle. I don't remember if I said the name earlier, but yeah, you get to see how they were mutilated because the Duchess didn't get what they wanted, which is love. I think for the most part, Sorry We're Closed is a super well-designed indie horror game, and it's more impressive when you find out it's these two fellas' debut video game. Shout out to y'all, bro. As for my gripes, I saved these for the end because I don't think this is a bad game by any stretch of the imagination, but Jack the Ripper has always got to keep it real with y'all, so let's just discuss the things that I had issues with. Number one being the length. I think it slightly overstays its welcome here. I put in about 9-ish hours by the end, and honestly, a lot of it could have been trimmed up. I really believe that, dude. It's kind of like what I said earlier with characters yapping a tad bit too long or combat scenarios not being as tight as I would like, but this is really a personal preference kind of thing, you know? I got the game for like 16 smackarooskies on sale, so I guess I should be grateful I got as much as I did. It's just more about the pacing, you smell me? I also think that besides the Heartbreaker and Third Eye abilities, the combat is pretty stiff and super duper basic. It doesn't really evolve past day one, you know? There is a Resident Evil 4 style merchant where you can sell artifacts you find along the way, then sell them for yauzas. Yes, that's the currency. But beyond that, there's no real variety when it comes to actual combat. Once again, it could be a little nitpicky on my end, but hey, I'm Jack the Ripper, what I say goes. If you're somebody who loves a good graphic novel or really just looking for a super heavy story game with some light survival horror elements, definitely give this game a shot. It retails at like $25, and to me, it's certainly worth that price. The aesthetics are unmatched here, the art is gorgeous, I absolutely love the soundtrack, and the story can be pretty damn solid at times if I do say so myself. It's obviously got some problems, but hey, like I said, it's their debut game, it's not bad at all. And as for the Certified Ripper ranking system, I'm plugging Sorry We're Closed in at a super solid, fair 8 rips out of 10 rips. I'm really curious to see how you guys are feeling about this game down below, though. Are you going to check it out, or perhaps wait for Corey Kenshin to play it? I don't know. Talk to me. That's about it, though, y'all. Love ya. Bye.